something that my mother-in-law actually advice that she gave. She's like, Jazz, like don't push back on Joseph's discipline for Joah because that's his father, and I have to, and also too, like, knowing my place as the wife and Joah's mom, like Joseph will always listen, and if it's a big thing, we always have communication about that. But I do need to like defer to him because he is Joseph's or Joah's dad, right? Like, and he's raising a young man. I don't know how to raise a young man,
right?
Like, you know what I'm saying? Let alone maybe a little girl one day,
right?
Like, but yeah, I have to defer to him, and so. We've worked. It hasn't been like a big issue, I think.
No, it hasn't. It's just one of the differences. Like,
yeah.
With me having to relearn, reprocess, rethink what sex was, that was like taking a part of my identity away.
Just because you may need to seek help or you may be in transition and things may not be right, it doesn't necessarily mean that your marriage is bad.
Marriage is a roller coaster ride that never ends.
From the twists of having children, to the turns of overly involved parents, or the highs of buying a new home, to the lows of unexpected lifestyle changes.
Marriage is dope, but let's be honest, fam. Marriage really be tiring.
Welcome to the Left Hand Gang podcast, hosted by Jazz and Spoon.
Yo, what's good, everybody? It's the Left Hand Gang. What's up, baby girl?
What up, gang? What up, baby?
You fine.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I mean, you sexy too. You got a haircut.
Oh,
fresh cut.
I'm sexy because I got a haircut.
I said, and you got a hair. Did I say? I didn't say because.
Because I got a haircut.
No, I didn't.
Because on any
But you trying to act like when we don't get our hair done, that don't like change the game a little bit.
It don't. Because I see the beauty on the inside.
Okay.
How you think I got you?
I mean, I was cute in college because I always had my hair done in college and I always wore makeup.
But I saw past that.
Mm-hmm.
I saw your
Can you
heart.
take the compliment?
Thank you.
I said you sexy.
Thank you.
You welcome.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
What's happening in your world, girl?
I don't know why I'm never ready for that question.
Well, I ask it
Every
single
episode. I don't know. I'm never ready because I'm trying not to like word vomit, but I'm also trying to share something.
So word vomit. They'll be all right. They'll get past this and we'll be on to the real content.
Okay, long story short, I'm ready for God to do more than what he has been doing.
Oh, you tired of the quail and manna in the desert?
I'm tired of it. I'm ready. I'm ready to come on out. I'm tired of the Ravens. I appreciate the Ravens. Lord, keep sending them. But I'm waiting on something.
Yeah.
I've been praying for something that's all the way up there, and so that's where I'm at.
How you know it's all the way up there?
Cause I can't touch it. I feel it. It's near, but I can't see it.
I feel it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to hold on to my little old mustard seed too. Cause I need something to pull up.
Need something to pull up.
I need something to pull up. Cause the way that we woke up this morning,
hey,
dog.
How you wake up in spiritual warfare?
Just woke up like.
I fought all night.
All night. I've been fighting all year.
Including 2023.
Yeah. I've been fighting since last year, 2023, January 2023. Yeah. And it's like, you know how did I say it this morning? It's like you swinging as hard as you can,
but your swing just like it's weak.
Is just lazy. It's just like
Like I want to give more, but I don't have it.
I want to give more, but that was my best.
That was my best swing.
All I could give. Like, Lord, help, please.
Yeah,
I feel
that's
you, dog.
Where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean, I'm there too.
But we coming out though. In the name of Jesus.
Yeah, I think we out. Ain't that what they supposed to do? You supposed to like speak those things that are not as though they were, or something like that.
Hey, do you really want to go there?
We can.
Because my faith ain't really where I'm feeling right now. So, I mean.
Well, I don't know. You know what? Rabbit trail. Let's go there.
Okay.
So it's like my faith is here, but my flesh is here.
That's what I meant to say. Yeah.
It's like my faith is like, yeah, we can do it.
Right.
But my flesh is like,
What's your flesh like?
Come on.
Yeah, I'm definitely down here right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in my humanity a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be up.
That's fine. I'm gonna say my humanity all a bit.
Okay.
Not even a little bit.
I'm holding on to a little bit.
I'm
holding on to a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm anchored in the Lord.
Oh, don't get it twisted.
But I'm anchored in the flesh too. Oh
Yo.
man, that's reality. That's humanity. I swear, if more people actually admitted that,
We'd be all right.
we'd be all right.
Mhm.
I think God will come through for us a lot faster if we
Maybe.
admitted the reality
know.
of our humanity, because we be over spiritualizing everything.
Right.
The Lord gonna do it. Is he gonna heal you from lung cancer and you still smoking cigarettes? I don't know.
That was extreme.
That was very extreme.
But okay.
But that was me. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So rabbit chase done.
Okay.
Let's come back.
Come on back. Right.
Man, baby, who do we have with us today?
We have the Francises with us today.
You know what? That's interesting. Is it the Francises or the Francis? Because it ends with an S.
I actually looked that up before.
Yeah, what is it?
I think you just put apostrophe on the end.
You
can
put
do
a-
either
I know
one.
you
Or you
do,
can
but
also
I'm
put
talking about how you
yes.
pronounce.
Because like the
You can do
Jones, like the
yes.
Joneses.
Right.
Oh.
So we could be the Francises or
Either one.
The
just
Fran-
the,
the Francis.
apostrophe.
Yeah.
But I thought
Their
if the
preference.
apostrophe is after, it's still like Francises. No?
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
It
different.
pronounced the same.
Yeah, but
yeah.
Spelling wise.
Yeah,
Oh, I
it's
got
still
you.
the same or whatever.
But yeah, we have Jasmine and let me say his government name, Joseph.
Joseph.
A lot of people
Francis.
gonna like that.
A lot of
Why?
people gonna like that.
Yeah, because they be hating my nickname. My friends gonna like that.
Oh.
Okay, so since we're going
My
there,
friends. Okay.
friends.
the
I like
only
that.
reason why is because Joseph came up with his own nickname and made everybody call him his nickname.
That's correct.
So your
And-
mama didn't call you that?
So,
She
No.
learned to do it over
so
time.
this is the thing. In Black culture, your nickname is given to you.
Right.
You don't create your own nickname.
Right. You grow up with
You
that
grow
name.
Told you that.
up with your nick. I've never
I've
met
never
a
met
black
anybody
person who
who-
gave themselves their own nickname.
You looking at them.
My brother did that, and I don't go with that name.
Exactly. It don't stick.
though. No.
That's why it's so hard for people to actually get on board. This man called himself Jodi.
Correct.
Jodi.
Exactly right. You know why?
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 Because I despise Joey. Joey's not a name.
People
for
were
me.
calling you that?
Well, people call people named Joseph Joey, especially in baseball.
I was gonna say
Oh,
baseball.
I didn't know that.
baseball or JoJo or
Or just
Joe.
Joe. Yeah.
Mm.
Yep, but I rock with Jody.
Okay.
And it was actually before
Was it
Baby
before?
Boy came out.
I was gonna
But
say,
then
was it
Baby Boy
before
came out.
Tyrese?
It was before.
I respect
yeah,
it.
was
I get
before,
it.
before
He
that.
said, y'all ain't gonna call me these, so this is what you can call me.
Yeah,
I respect
They used
it.
to call me Jr. Like my family called me Jr. My
That don't
first
even
and my
sound
middle
right because
name.
I'd never.
It was Jr. It's etched in stone in Louisiana on the ground, and then Jody, and then that is what it is. So now my friends say Joseph just out of spite.
Yeah.
You do say it like with an emphasis.
Well, and so
rants.
within the last like 7-8 months, this is actually funny. We actually put more emphasis on the F because somebody
Yeah,
was
don't
it?
even know
I think
F
it was
there.
Elijah. Elijah had Joseph's name spelled in his phone with an F and not PH.
Oh
I
God.
think it was Ransford.
Or maybe it was
You know,
Ransford.
Ransford can't spell.
Maybe
Is
it's
it an
Ransford.
African thing?
So I
has to be
don't
because-
know
Now,
why.
some people spell Joseph with an F, but I mean,
It's
Not
so-
not Americans.
yeah.
And
Some
so-
people yeah,
In
some-
America,
some
I've
people,
seen it in like
some people.
I can't think of what that. Oh, I can't think of what it is, but
Yeah.
I've seen it in other nationalities.
So within the last 6-7 months, that F has really been enunciated.
Yeah, it's not
Y'all
even
are
an F.
Out of
So
spite,
funny.
definitely.
Out of
Joseph.
spite. Exactly
You got to do
right.
the hand motion, Joseph.
wow.
That's really funny.
Yep.
Oh man, but yeah,
Real
Joseph.
friends.
I've been knowing Joseph over 20 years. Like I've been knowing this man my whole life. So
That's correct.
it's
I always
it's
called
crazy.
you what you wanted to be called.
I didn't give myself my nickname.
I know you did.
I didn't ask to be called Spoon. It just happened and it stuck. The reason why it stuck was because somebody gave it to me, Joseph.
That's correct. That's your last name. Just shortened.
That's it, man. But Jasmine, Joseph, man, we love y'all so much. We
We
thank
do.
y'all for
It's
hopping
mutual.
on with us.
Yes, yes.
So where y'all from? What set y'all claim? Who y'all peoples?
Christ.
Okay.
Claim.
Okay, so this is
100%.
where we at.
Okay.
Right, to get that
Christ.
clear. But I let anybody you can and you fine as well.
Thank you, baby.
Fine as well.
Thank you,
My
baby.
baby fine. But now you can go ahead and tell them where you from, baby. Now go
Sure.
ahead.
So I was born and raised in Tampa, Florida.
Mhm. Pull your
Came
mic a little
to.
closer. No, you can pull it towards you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that better?
Yeah.
So I came to Dallas originally in 2014. I joined Teach for America.
Mm.
That's where I met Joseph originally. I think I met you my first month I was here in Texas,
Mhm.
and the rest is history
Hmm.
from there.
So I'm from Florida, Tampa, and then Day City. So I'm from here. I'm from Arlington, Texas, born and raised. Where I was born in Fort Worth, raised in Arlington, and then my people from Louisiana, Monroe, Louisiana, and my dad's side from Ruston. So that's just how that go. I know people start laughing when I say that. So I know it's a lot of haters from Louisiana that's gonna say Monroe is Texas. You know how that go.
Is it?
No, it's not. It's Louisiana.
I mean, it's like right there though.
Well, Shreveport is like right there.
That's fair.
Then Monroe's kind of like in the middle, but it's on the north side. It's a people that's from New Orleans that say that, or Baton Rouge, or Lake Charles.
Just call them out, all of them.
Yeah,
Right.
Lake Providence.
He coming for
Exactly
all
right.
of
Now,
them.
that's all good. I ain't doing no tripping. Now, Texas though, born and raised.
So how did y'all meet? What's y'all story?
All right. So, we graduated in 2013, and then I got Teach for America. And when I got Teach for America, they give you like 10 cities that you list of your top 10 cities you want to move to, and they try to place you as close to the top as possible.
Yeah.
Now, since I was coming out from close to DC, I had DC as my number one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Y'all were up north
exactly
at the
right.
time.
And Rob was going to work in DC.
Yeah.
And then I had the DFW as number 2. And then I forgot what I put as the other ones, right? I didn't really care because I knew they always told me, like, if you don't get that one in DC, DFW always needs people. It's like one of the biggest ones, right?
Yeah.
So I figured I would get it.
And I didn't know that when I put DFW. So I put DFW number
She put it
9
number
out of
9.
10.
Oh.
And the only reason I put Texas is because as I was picking my places, I was on the phone with someone who was from Texas. And I was like, man, I can't,
Can't think of
can't think of
anywhere.
other cities to put. And they're like, oh, put Texas. I'm like, Texas, okay. Like, it was really on a whim.
Wow.
And so I had number 1, like, New York, everyone in California, all these cool places to go.
God was like, nope. Yes. No.
Wow.
So number
I
9
didn't know
out
that.
of 10 was
Exactly right.
was Dallas. So
Exactly right. So then, but it was a year in between. So we're the same age, but she was getting her master's. So my first year in TFA, I was in South Oak Cliff at at Clara Oliver Elementary. And then the next year, of course, unbeknownst to me, because I didn't know she was there, she did her master's at UF, and then she got placed to her 9th spot at the exact same school.
they're all over.
And Claire Oliver in South Oak Cliff. So it was my second year, her first year as teaching. And then I saw her at because we would have trainings
Like
for
TD?
in the
TFA.
summertime.
Oh,
in the summertime.
Oh, okay.
And so I saw her there. That's kind of where we met.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw him too.
You do?
He was driving up, with all windows down, music blasting. And I was like, yeah.
In the Altima.
And we still got Altiana.
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 Was it Altima? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was the Altima.
All the windows
Was it
down.
the
All
Mustang?
windows. No, baby. It was
Mustang, I got you.
Altiana.
Okay, then. All right, for sure.
And so I kind of peeped him a little bit. I was like, okay,
Right,
Yeah.
2014.
And then since we were in the same Peter Pat in the same school district area, we were in the same cohort for the trainings, and so we kind of just started talking as professional interests at
professional.
first until ...
Who made the first move?
Yeah, what you do, Joseph?
Oh, you said who made the first move. So when I was going there, so the reason, first and foremost, I wasn't even supposed to be there. I think they had all the people who was their first year
It
in
was
TFA.
the first year supposed to come.
But I had to come. It was kind of extra, right? I think it was something like the person that's over you, the supervisor, she wanted me to go. I'm like,
it was
all
his mentor was
Like,
like, oh,
it was-
Joseph, if you're not doing anything, come on to the meeting. And
whatever it was, I forgot. But when I went up there, so I was kind of going up there like, all right, I got to do this. I already know the drill. It's just like when I was in college, it's going to,
yeah.
let me just, go through my time. And so I was going through, she was with her group and they were chopping it up. And I came over there, we was talking about something, right? And she kind of came over and started talking to me about whatever we was talking about. And we found out that we was going to the same school, that we was working at the same school.
Same grade level.
Same grade level.
Oh.
We were both started out in 3rd grade.
And so I mean, I just kind of, I didn't think too much of it at the time. I was like, oh, that's cool,
Because he was in work mode. I was over here trying to
I was in
meet
work
people.
mode.
Right.
Yeah.
In
One
my
thing
new
about
city.
Joseph-
In your
So-
new place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When Joseph is like here, this
Yeah.
where he is.
Yeah.
He focused. He is laser sharp, locked in.
Locked in.
So yeah, that's kind
in.
of how it was. And then so I would say she made the first move, right? Which was fine because at that point in time, I remember like I wasn't like really thinking about relationships or talking to nobody. I was kind of like more so like seeing a lot of trends that we see today was still the same back then. And I was like, man, a lot of these women not really serious about marriage.
Yeah, we were young. We were what,
Like,
22?
we was young, but I still was thinking like that. Like I was
Yeah.
like, I was like, we're gonna see how it go, right? And then as we started talking, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I can see that she really loves God. We can probably do something with this, right? But I would say she made the first move. She had invited me like to lunch or something. I think we went for like, am I right about this? It was like doing a training for school.
Yeah, we were supposed to meet up with there was supposed to be 3 of us that went out to lunch. For during one of our training days, and she couldn't go, and so I was like, well, we should still go. I think my excuse was like, oh yeah, we can like talk about lesson plans or something, our grade level lesson plans.
Yeah.
And so I asked him for his number. I'm proud to say I did ask her for his number.
Okay.
And we had a good time at lunch. Like I think we just started like talking, connecting. It was our first time like outside of a work setting, and so. Of course, he was handsome. I was already like thinking he was cute, of course. And we just like talked and kind of got deep, and we just saw we had a connection. And I think too, like, I don't know if I'm sure it happened with you guys, but when you meet someone and you know that they are also a believer and they have the spirit with them, it was like from the beginning, like I felt like we knew each other. Like our spirits were like matching.
I understand that. So I have to ask, when you like, I'm going to say the word pursuing, but when you were like pursuing him, was it like for professional purposes or was it both? Like, because you thought he was cute or you
It wasn't
weren't
even for professional, girl. I thought he was cute and I was like, I like him.
Okay, I just want to set the record straight because there are some women who are like okay with like shooting a shot. And being forward.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like being forward like, in a non-classy way. Like it was like just a legit I'm going to make the first move.
And also like I was like he was showing interest back now.
Yeah, I was. I
For sure. It wasn't like I had to like.
Yeah, she wasn't thirsty.
Yeah.
No,
right. Yeah, I didn't get that. Yeah.
I didn't get that either.
Yeah. And it really happened really organically. I'll be honest. Like, and again at that age, like, you go out. I was trying to see the new city. He was.
Yeah, that's
again. We had no kids. We were single. We were just.
You said 21, 22.
I was 22.
Oh yeah, that's
like
a
2014.
Nice,
yeah,
I was 22 years old.
like
it's easy.
It was
easy
easy.
life.
It was fun. Easy,
Yeah,
like
fun and.
I lived downtown, so we would like go see little happy hours, hop on the little train, dark train, and see the city together.
It's so cute. It's like a movie.
It was like a movie.
Oh, yeah, she was
I
living
feel like-
downtown. I wasn't too far from downtown.
Yeah.
And she was living downtown, so that was cool. I was really like, dang, did I go out that much? I don't know. Maybe I was going out a little bit, but I was like tapering down from college. Like,
Oh yeah, same.
it wasn't like. So she kind of got me moving back, going out and doing those type of things again. But from the time that we went to that lunch and then started connecting, we was together ever since then.
Yeah,
Like, so
literally.
I think it was we met each other in August. Was it?
It was
August?
like maybe end of July, like end of July, August, and he asked me to be his girlfriend in September.
In September. Yeah, September is when we made it official.
Yeah, and ever since then we've been.
So y'all weren't worried about like working together and dating? I know there's some people that have like a rule with that.
Nah,
I don't think
not
so
really.
because
Nah.
we always moved professional in the workplace.
Gotcha.
But of course, sometimes we would like ride to work together, ride home from work together. So people used to talk, and so they knew, you know what I mean. And I think in the beginning, it wasn't a problem at work, but in the beginning, like. Because we were so young. First of all, we're young. We're working with these old veteran teachers. They're like,
Not
who are
old,
these?
but just veteran teachers.
Seasoned saints.
True. Seasoned saints, yes. And so we had a lot of eyes on us, I'm sure. But I also didn't care. We just kind of did our thing.
I wasn't doing no tripping. I was cool with the like the admin, and the staff, and
of course you were.
Like, look, as long
you're
as we,
Jodi.
keep it professional, I ain't got no problem,
Yeah.
And we kept it professional, and it's people that have like spouses on their jobs, at the job and stuff like that. So, it wasn't a problem. Matter of fact, they our principal, a few of them came to our wedding.
Really, they helped serve the food at our wedding, like on the buffet.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, they're really sweet ladies. Like,
so how long did y'all date before y'all got engaged? And really, I'll let you know where I'm trying to go.
A couple years.
Joseph,
2 years.
Okay, so who knew? Like, did you know before her? Like, did you talk about marriage?
Oh yeah, we always talked about me from the jump. You're talking about marriage. I mean, so that point in time in my life, it's probably starting in college. But I was saying to myself, like, I don't do the whole date, be a boyfriend, girlfriend, and not talk about marriage. It's like from the jump. That's the reason why we dating. That's the reason why I'm dating.
Yeah.
If we're gonna be like going out, calling ourselves boyfriend and girlfriend, like what's the end goal, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
same for me. Yeah, same for me. Like I remember, I don't know if you guys had this culture in like college groups you were in or whatever, but the college group I was in was like, oh, prepare your heart for marriage. That was like the big thing. Like, you're looking for your spouse out here. Like it's, you just stay holy till you get married. So I think in college too, I was really truly preparing my heart for marriage. You know what I mean? But I was also young too. So I was like,
I was preparing for the turn up.
Well, I was also turning up on the weekends a bit.
I just wasn't thinking about marriage. I love that for you.
It was very like marriage focused. Like, and again, some churches have different cultures, like especially if you have like a big youth group that are like young college age kids. But I forgot where I was going with this. Anyways, I was preparing my heart for marriage too, but I was also trying to have fun too. You know what I'm saying? But I think we just came into each other's lives because we both had that intention, and God like blessed that.
So we the gist of it, we was talking about marriage since day one.
Okay,
that was a big thing, and then I already had in my mind that if after like 2 years, I wouldn't, it would be a proposal soon. Like after that, like
why 2 years?
I feel like that was a good amount of time for me to know. Like I'm not gonna be like wasting time, right? And from at that point in my life, if the biggest thing is that woman, that she loved God, is she a believer? Then from that point, it's like, okay, how is she as a person? How does she treat me? And if anything of those things were like really off, I'm thinking about marriage every day, then we wouldn't be together 2 years. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't take me that long to know.
That's true.
Know that,
That's true.
And so after that point, I already figured in my head, like, okay, it's about that time to start getting ready. I'm already trying to plan for it, like saving money towards it. And it wasn't just so like, oh, I found the right person, and now I'm gonna start like planning. It was like I'm already planning even without, like, before I met Jasmine. That was a big thing. I always was praying like, God, allow me to be and help me to be the best husband and the best father. And I already have that mindset, even though I didn't have any kids or anything. I always prayed that.
And that's something that I think I love the most about Joseph is like, he's extremely calculated with his decisions, and he always thinks 10, 12, 15 steps ahead of, and he like prepares now.
He's a planner.
I don't want to cry because that's like, I don't know. That's just something that, I don't know. Like I love a lot about you.
Thank you, baby.
He was planning for you, girl. He was planning.
He was planning before. And I remember that time too, because
Didn't you fast?
Yeah, me, Joseph, and Robert, we were fasting. Like right before he had proposed, we were all fasting together.
Yeah, I remember you telling me,
and
like, I'm fasting today with Joseph. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
And so
I didn't know why.
Yeah, we fasted
until after, and I was like, oh, that's so sweet.
Yep, and here's the result of it. God does answer prayers.
I knew you told me later on, yes, but I didn't know like in the moment. Like, get you some friends that's gonna fast with you.
Gonna fast with you, but for real. And just being on that side of it, I'm just like, yo, because you and I, we were still being rabbits.
Yeah, we were still wild,
being heathens in the street.
I wasn't thinking about marriage. I wasn't.
We was. Yep.
Yeah.
And
that's funny to hear.
And it's just like, although I love God and had a relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
I really wasn't taking God as seriously. And so for my friend to be like, hey, dog, I think I'm finna propose, but I want to be sure. And I need y'all to fast with me. So that pulled on me to be like, hey, dude, get your stuff together.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Get your life. First of all, you can't be
Get your
fasting
life.
for
You can't be
somebody and
fast-
you.
Exactly. And you out here in the streets.
Right.
Oh Lord.
But that's the reality of it. And sometimes in our relationships with our friends and whatnot, it's like whenever that one person steps out and they're like actually taking God seriously, it holds you accountable.
Yeah.
And it wasn't outright like, hey, bro, you really out here tripping. You need to get together. But it was like, hey, this is what I'm doing to prepare for my future. And I want you to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And so, that was one of those life altering moments for myself personally, with God and seeing like, yo, God, you really blessed me with some good friends.
Yeah.
This man wanted me to fast on his behalf, and I'm out here being a heathen. That says a lot. And God answered it. He
Right.
responded.
Right.
Like, wait a minute. So, it shows me that, God has a way of still coming and getting us in so many in unconventional ways that we wouldn't even think of.
Yeah.
That we have those moments with him. And that's one of those that like I know for a fact I'll never forget. Because it helped strengthen my relationship with God. And even to the point where I even became a better person, a better human being, because of it. So I don't think I ever told you that, brother, but yeah.
That's a blessing. I'm happy to hear that, man. That's all God, though, at the end of the day. That's the Holy Spirit, and that's a blessing. I'm glad about that. But that's what, God called us to do, man. It's just examples. What kind of examples we setting? And that do a lot of the work for us, right? That's part of our evangelism, right? How we living. And that's how you been your whole life, bro.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason I came to talk to you, right? You've been that way your whole life. That just from the time you was little. I always been an old soul. Spoon is just an old soul.
I believe it.
When he was young. And
I can see that.
we had a few friends like that, like Mike Martin, Spoon, FCA. I mean, we got a good group of friends. It's very unique. So we had like 30, 40 people in FCA, and we'd be talking about the Bible. And, we weren't really doing nothing. Like stuff that was normal to do in high school, people might smoke or do whatever. Nah, we was focused on school and sports and sticking together. Of course, we probably did some things, said a couple words here and stuff like we didn't, but it was all love for the most part. Yeah. And we took that Bible serious. Yeah. And Spoon was one of the leaders of that. And so I think when we got to college, it's kind of like you out on your own. Yeah. And things a little different.
A lot of different.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And so for me, in college, thinking back on it, it's kind of like it's easy like to compare yourself and be like, well, I'm not as bad as what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, so
I still wake up on Sunday morning.
Exactly right.
Get myself there.
But I got convicted about those things. So it was like really big on like, all right, I need to make sure I'm doing what's right and not worry about what everybody else doing and not comparing myself to them. And that's kind of why I'm like, all right, I'm gonna surround myself around the people I know that's like that when we're talking about serious things. Me and Spoon always talked about deep things. It just naturally happens. Yeah. Just
y'all do.
Not the surface level.
I think it's
stuff.
mostly deep things.
Yeah,
it's mostly. It's always that's what it's always about.
Yeah.
And so that was good, man. So I'm happy to hear that, bro. That's a blessing. It was unintentional. But that's good. Yeah, it's unintentional.
Yeah, it was God's will. It was God's will. So my question is, Jasmine, how did you know, like, yeah, this is the guy? Like, this is him. Like,
yeah. I think it was just like kind of how I mentioned before about I felt like I knew him before I really knew him. I feel the spirit's real. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like one of my gifts is like discernment with people. I feel like I naturally just can almost not read, in a sense, kind of read who you are, your intentions and who you are. And with Joseph, it's always been like just the most pure-hearted person in like intentions, And so, yeah, like I had, had other relationships in the past where, like you want it to work, you try to make it work.
It's just not
but
it.
with him, it was just like, I didn't have to do that. Like I didn't have any of those feelings in the back of my head or like, I didn't have to kind of push that thought on my mind during quiet time with the Lord. Like oh, this is not the one for you. I didn't have to do that with him. And so, yeah, it was just like from the beginning, I just kind of always knew. And then, you know, just the blessing of seeing his consistency through the years, really how he treated people. Like I still learn from him, like how you treat people, you know what I mean? Like that's a natural gift of his. And so just, you know, getting to learn from him and see him, how he moves every day throughout different settings, like was just an amazing thing. And I, you know, to this day, I can say like, it's just, he's always shown up. He's always been there. He's always very consistent. Everything I've, you know how you used to, like, I don't know if you did this, Jazz, but like made a list of things you wanted in a husband. Like, no. I used to have things like I really wanted in my husband, you know, and I really prayed for. And again, like time and time again, God just like showed really himself through Joseph to me.
Ooh, that's deep.
And yeah, it's a simple answer. Like you just knew. I just knew.
Just knew.
Yeah.
You knew. How did my mama say it?
I know it in my knower.
I know it in my knower. I know in my knower. She said.
That's what she said.
Yeah, you done inherited that from your mama, boy.
I know in my knower.
Them type of sayings. Spoon got him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Just relax. Man, so y'all have gone through some different shifts and pivots and all that other stuff. I want to talk about how y'all end up becoming vegan.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Well, let me tell you how I know she was the one. Is that coming?
I mean, sure.
Oh, yeah,
We can pause the vegan question and go there.
For sure. Now I'm gonna get to the vegan thing. That's gonna
Oh,
be
will
easy.
he?
So it was very, very easy for me to see in her actions and her words, you know, how much she loved God and she took that serious. That was the biggest thing for me. You know, very beautiful. But I guess since high school, bro, and you know, and people they like to rag on me and Spoon. Before a group chat thing was a thing, you know that, and you give people those names, it'd be like Uncle Joe, Papa Joe, Reverend Joe, Grandpa Joe,
Grandpa
Spoon, just,
Papa
Joe,
Joe,
Grandpa Spoon, Uncle, you know, Preacher Spoon before he was in the pulpit. But that's because, like, you know, dudes might send like a picture of a girl or something, and I'm like, okay,
yeah,
that stuff never excited me. Like I learned that back in school, right? And I never really cared too much about the looks. I always was like, okay, how does this person act? But God, you mean, he done blessed me, right? I have a woman that looks great, right? But my thing was, I was like, okay, let me see how she acts, how is she with her family, let me hear her story, get to know her. She was very transparent with me. And so seeing like, okay, this is how you came up, all these different things that happened to you, right? And this is the type of person you are, going to college despite some of the challenges that was happening before, getting your master's, right? Going to church, that's a very big thing. Like I think that church was called Gateway Church. Greenhouse Church in college. She talked about that church all the time. Like that was a big part of her day.
So she really was in there. She was probably serving too.
She was serving for sure. Not going.
And her friends was talking about it.
Some of my best friends are still from that time in my life and like that church. So yeah. And
then another big thing for me was like modesty and piety, right? And that's not like a big thing that I saw. Piety. Like
piety, word of the day.
I was lacking where I was, you know, like a lot of a good amount of women. I'm not gonna say everybody, but like they want to have like they breast out when they go out. They want to, you know, go and like, you know, like that's just a thing, you know. That's the type of culture that we in, and that I was really turned off from all of that, right? And that's why I was part of the reason why I was saying like I wasn't really looking, right? Because everything I was seeing was like that at that time. Like they just want to turn up. If they have a conversation, a real conversation, then you'll say things like, you know, what if your husband, you know, says like he doesn't want you to wear that? The responses, you're gonna know what responses you get. Like, what? No man gonna tell me this, that, third.
On that stuff all the time.
What about submitting to your husband? What?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I already knew, but it was completely different with Jasmine. Somebody, I'm like, okay, this somebody that is actually showing and what I've been saying, that, you know, that's exactly what I'm looking for in a wife. Not what I'm saying, because I try to defer to what their words say, and that's what I saw, right? And so that it was easy for me. It didn't take long. It didn't take too long at all. You know, a couple of months, 3-4 months, And I knew, but it was just more so like, okay.
Yeah, you still got to get to know.
Exactly.
That keeps happening every time. Every guy that we've had on here, every husband, I should say, has said the same thing. Y'all know within a couple months, like sometimes weeks, like you just know. I believe that's something God gave y'all. And the Bible says, he that finds a wife, because I believe like as the head, that's something that you know what I mean? God's given y'all. Yeah. And I think that's so dope. It never fails. I love to hear every guy say that without it. Like there's no setup. It just ends up coming out and they're like, yeah, I knew already.
Yeah, exactly right.
I think it's safe. I think it's also good to bring up, like, it wasn't all like, roses with us either. You know what I mean? Like, I think culturally we're very different. You know what I'm saying? Like, for one, we were raised in totally different states. I'm a biracial woman. And so that comes with, its own set of like identity things as well. And I brought up before, like how Joseph treats people. I think that's like a gift of his. Like I didn't always have that. Like, his family and I didn't always like just click like we do now and get along like we do now. It was kind of like, me having to step out of my comfort zone and like challenge myself a bit and like, look in the mirror and say, hey, like maybe I was a little bit rude. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe that's like real. Culturally, like Joseph was raised when you walk into a house, you give everybody a hug, you speak to everybody. I didn't get that growing up. So like I came in, I'm naturally
that's how we
quiet, introverted. So I might come in like kind of, say hi, but when I left, what? She didn't speak to me. I can't believe she didn't,
Yes,
and
I
so
understand.
and I got my feelings hurt a couple times over stuff, little things like that. But I think Joseph, like he does a good job about extending grace, you know what I'm saying, for many areas of our marriage. And also like, sticking up for me as like, someone he knew was potentially going to be his future wife one day. Like he always held that boundary and like, was very protective over me early on. So
I'm sure we're going to get into that more.
I mean, we'll go for it.
Let's go.
Well, like, okay, we're going to slide past the vegan thing.
Yeah, we'll come back to it. Just like I ain't going to say nothing. I wasn't going to say nothing, but just like y'all slid past Joah. I mean, y'all ain't talking nothing about Joah, Josiah, nothing, but it's fine.
We'll
get there too.
Of course.
That's
for sure. Of course. So I'm guessing, I would say that was part of what I was saying when I was saying like to see over time, right? Because of course nobody's going to always be thinking as I can't expect somebody to be as forward thinking as I am, right? When it comes to those things, right? So I'm already thinking like, okay, we get married, like it's not my money, your money. That was already a thing for me. Like we got to have, this one bank account or we all have access to all the bank accounts. It's our money. I'm big on like that language type stuff. I always tell my family like I love you when we leave and stuff like that. Leave out the house. Having conversations, difficult conversations, that's a big thing. I know some people like to shut down, right? And it's like, okay, it's not an attack,
Go on.
and stuff like that. And I know, and it's just more so of how do we respond to like the feedback we getting from one another.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, it's so
if
over
you're not
time,
watching
that's the
this,
biggest thing.
Lorraine is patting my leg. Thank you.
And so that was a big thing for me. Like that was the only thing I was really watching for over time. Like I know this is uncomfortable for you, but are you willing to be uncomfortable, right? To make sure that we we're on the same page about things. I mean, and I'm comfortable with doing that. So I can't be like you need to do it as fast as I'm doing it, but I do need to see it.
Yeah.
Right. Because I mean, if that doesn't happen, then it's kind of like it can fall easily into being like selfish, right? And marriage to me is antithetical to being selfish. It don't go together.
Yeah,
and so,
you can't.
Yeah, I love that he always brings that up continuously. And
Brings what
again,
up?
being just like marriage is not a selfish thing.
Yeah.
You have to be selfless. And I think he does a good job about preaching that and like, not preaching that, but just modeling that in every aspect of our marriage, especially financial. Like we can get there if we get there, but that was not always my view on things. It's uncomfortable for me to have to like always have to discuss about financial decisions. Even something like I just want to go to TJ Maxx and get a candle and
if I see something else, let me pick up a couple other things.
Just a couple things. Like it's not gonna break the bank.
Right.
But again, Joseph being very forward thinking, like, baby, $50 here, $25 here. We went out to lunch last week. That was $75. Like,
and I immediately eye roll.
Yeah, and I don't do the eye roll just
I don't do it in his face.
yeah. I do the eye roll probably in my head a little bit. I definitely do it in my head. Let me be real. I do it in my head, right? But yeah, that was something I still feel like I had to give that up. That's that I would say if that's an idol in my life, it's like thinking about what I want and not always coming to him and discussing little things. Joseph will call me, hey babe, I forgot my water bottle this morning. Like, I'm gonna stop by and get like,
I love that.
bottle of water, pack of gum, or oh babe, I'm just kind of hungry, extra hungry today. I was thinking about ordering lunch. I'm like, baby, go ahead. Like, if you're hungry, you need to eat. Stuff like that I and I think it's also too like it's intentional on his part because he's modeling that. And
right.
so
it's
I'm
not
like, Lord, let me get it together, because if he's modeling this over and over, like I need to just like, what am I afraid of? Like, why don't I just pick up the phone and say, hey babe, I wanna go shopping today and spend,
yeah.
a little bit here or there, so.
Yeah, I don't do no tripping about it. So like, I guess you could say I'm frugal. I will say
You are frugal.
But I'm not cheap. There's some people, they put this
No,
together.
they're not the same.
However,
it's
more so cheap. Like, look, it's just a plan. So I don't got no problem with it as long as we understand the implications. Like, if you're asking for things and then we plan for things, but then you do things that are going against what we planned for, then it's either you gotta be able to adjust the plan. But if you don't want to, you still want the things you want that you're working against that we're gonna get. Then it's like a conversation. It's like, okay, it's never been like a no. It's always been like, it's more so like, let's plan for it. And it's like, I know sometimes it might be like a real urge to like, I want it now, right? Yeah. And I'm big on like, if we can do it now, that's fine. But if I get this sense that like, this is a big issue, if like wait maybe a month or 2 months, then I want to explore that to be like,
what's
it might make me like, even if we have it, to be like, well, let's see, like, what's the, because we're not gonna always be able to get what we want. It's not a problem.
That's real.
Even got to the point like, so we came up with solutions for it. It's not a problem to do things like, okay, well, we have our money. We got all of our money is our money. I'm big on like those words. But then if you want money that you don't want to talk to me about, if you want to buy something, then you can do an allowance, right?
Yeah. It's like a separate checking account attached to our main account.
Yeah,
exactly right. Too. And then like you can, that's money you don't got to tell me nothing about.
Right, you do what you want to do.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. And then
but even looking back, like that's still almost feeling that like little selfish desire in me, like. Yeah, I just want to do what I want to do, because I have my own little money to do it. Like, you know what I mean? And so eventually we got away with the little, monthly allowance spending thing.
And it's just a thing of us, all of our parents, and the way that they came up with struggle. It was struggle all the time. Like, I didn't forget that. You know what I'm saying? We were always renting. The rent goes up, you got to go to another house. So it would be like another house in the neighborhood, and it was similar, right? It wasn't, I can get whatever I wanted. Same in her household. It was like struggle. We wouldn't call it poor, but I mean maybe like a step up. You know what I'm saying? Because we always have food to eat and clothes, but you're not gonna have the Jordans you want.
Right.
And that's part of the reason it was so easy for me not to care about the looks and stuff back in high school, because we didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? So like, if I had to make my value attached to that, then you would be feeling real down about yourself, and that's just not who I am. And so I'm like, well, we see what happened with our parents, and these are the habits that they showed. Yeah. So if we're gonna be wise, the last thing we need to be doing is start following into the things that they were doing, which is, I'm not tracking the dollars that we spending. I'm not, I'm not making a plan for nothing. Yeah. I'm going into debt.
Even
not
saving.
Thinking about
Sometimes these are saving, like
stuff like that, like saving intentionally, like stuff like. I remember the first day we got, like, as soon as we got married, because talking about finances was a thing that we was talking about. But I knew the first day that we got married, I was like, all right, well. Cause she didn't really want to show me like her credit and all that stuff, whatever. Like,
he knew my credit score, of course, because we were working on that already, right?
I knew we was already working on it, but the first day I was like, look,
I got a call. I think we were in Walmart, babe. I got a call for like a late payment on one of my credit cards.
Yeah, she closed it or thing. She canceled it. That was
one of those. The other card was maxed out. Not a big. It was a big limit, $3,000, right? It was $3,000, and he's just like, I remember this because it hit me hard. He's like, baby, let's just go ahead and like pay that off.
Yeah, we just like got money Walmart, from the wedding.
This is y'all talking.
We got some money from the wedding.
I got the call from,
and I'd be like, no. let's just make payments.
Yeah, let's just yeah.
Because we're gonna pay more interest.
We're gonna pay more.
Yeah, and so then that meant a lot to me because I was like, man, like
How selfless.
yeah, and it's like my this sounds dramatic. My debt was just wiped clean. Like I was like, Lord, like it was like one of the first times too I felt like a clean slate almost. You know, and of course we still have other debt, like we have student loan, whatever.
Yeah, I got you. I understand.
But it was like I didn't have to carry that on my own anymore. Like he stepped in and like we were handling it now together. And that was awesome. That was
That's a huge thing. That definitely shows his heart. That shows so much about him.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, and it's just like, you know, as things like that have just grown from here, from then on. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
And that's a big one. Like when you look up like why people don't make it in marriage, one of the biggest ones is financial reasons. I guess they start saying irreconcilable differences, but I see that as finances being a big one or two. It was always finances a big one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know, that's something we need to be very transparent about and be on the same page about before we even get married. And then it's still a journey, and it's getting better.
It is a journey. It is a journey. And I used to think like, and I still sometimes fall into this trap of like, okay, it's not like, it's just we need to make more money. Like let's just make more money.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's not about making more money. It's about, like he said, like the conversations you have around money, your personal habits, and like how you communicate with your spouse about money. That's what makes or breaks a couple, like financially. You know
That's
what I'm
so
saying?
true.
So
you have bad habits. Making more money, you're gonna spend more money. That's all it is.
Yeah.
You're gonna get more, bigger this, bigger that. It's still the same thing, no matter how much money you're gonna make.
Very true.
And so that's why I'm like, if we can be good stewards over what God has blessed us with, and whenever we get blessed with more, He'll bless us with more once we are good stewards over.
And that's really been in our
That's a big
in our
one.
life.
I like how y'all were also very intentional. That sounds like something that was deep rooted in you as the head of the house and just as a leader already, in the standard you want to set, Joseph. But I can tell that y'all also were intentional about like, we're not going to repeat the same steps of our parents. And baby, I think you were about to say something.
Go ahead.
So that kind of makes me wonder, like, because I know for us, those were conversations we had to have. And I think that's so important. We didn't grow up the same way. So you have to talk about that. Because I'm bringing my perspective, my experiences, he's bringing his, and they don't always mesh. And so what was that like for y'all? And you've already talked about finances, but maybe what are some other things that y'all realized, okay, I was brought up like this. You were brought up like this. I guess, how did your childhood impact your marriage and being spouses?
Yeah, that's good. Anything big come to mind? You wanna?
I mean, it's plenty of things. Like parenting is gonna be different, right? Or like, what your thoughts on it? Well, I mean, we're pretty good on that, but those were differences in the parenting. More nurturing, right? Or firm. And I still think that like for example, so with Joa, and that's my big man. He'll be 3 in April. He'll be 3 in April.
Boy.
And so when I was young, it was like really like, you know, the belt is how you respond to everything, right? Or like very like, you know, and
it's just like you do what I say, or you get a pop. Like
exactly right.
That's it.
And so now that he's at an age where he's cognizant of like, when I'm like telling you I don't want to do something, I'm not gonna listen to you. Right? It's not like you don't know better, you know better, and I'm choosing not to, right? Then for me, it's more like, okay, what's the balance and what's the right way to respond? And I think that it didn't scar me so much, right? But with Jazz, you know, it was kind of like, I don't want him, like I don't really want that ever, really, right? It's always another way to kind of do it, right? But I think that it's appropriate that sometimes for it to be a pop, like it needs to be a pop.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Like I definitely pop Joa, like, because he does try you. Like he'll
Kai's getting
look
there.
in your face and be like, no. Oh Lord. So, and again, I think also too, being a teacher, like a former teacher, like you know that if kids start to push that boundary, it's gonna get worse.
It's gonna get worse. Yeah.
But I think like he was kind of, to tie back to the childhood, like I think, and then of course also keeping in mind, like I think men and women, like mothers and fathers, have innate different responses and like just innate things that like you do as you rear children together, right? And so of course I'm more of a nurturer, and you know, but I think too, like I think something in my childhood, like I didn't have a lot of open communication with my parents, and like a lot of like just discussions about important things in my life. And so I've always wanted to be very intentional with Joa like talking to him, explaining to him, like,
Yeah.
I also want to honor, like, look, I get it. Like, you don't want to wear your big jacket today. Like, I sometimes don't want to wear my big jacket either if it's cold. Like, I want to put a little sweater on and just run to the car and get in, get out. Like, so it's a fine line. But I think Joseph is, again, being a man, like discipline, like responsibility, resiliency is a big thing to teach a young son. And so something that my mother-in-law actually advice that she gave, she's like, Jazz, like, don't push back on Joseph's discipline for Joah because that's his father, and I have to, and also too, like, knowing my place as the wife and, Joah's mom, like Joseph will always listen. And if it's a big thing, we always have communication about that. But I do need to like defer to him because he is Joseph's or Joah's dad. Right. Like, and he's raising a young man. I don't know how to raise a young man.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Let alone maybe a little girl one day.
Right.
Like, but, I have to defer to him. And so we've worked, it hasn't been like a big issue, I think.
No, it hasn't. It's just one of the differences.
Difference.
It's one of the differences. And then that would be, I would say those would be the biggest things is finances and then parenting. And those probably be the biggest ones.
I think communication too, baby.
Oh yeah, communication.
How we communicate with big.
But I don't know if that's like a coming from our upbringing. That's just who we are.
Do.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why?
Again, like I just mentioned, like we didn't tilt it down like this. Yeah. Okay. We didn't talk in my household growing up.
And do you mind if I share your upbringing? You came from a 2-parent home.
Yes. Until I was like, my parents have, maybe I was 12. My parents separated. Mm-hmm. They didn't officially divorce until I was like, maybe, I don't know, 17, 18. Mm-hmm. But my dad was always like, he was always around in there, but very absent. Mm-hmm. Like as in like he always, went to work. And I'm grateful for that, right? Like, had insurance. Again, food on the table. But when he came home from work, it was like he just kind of like did his own thing. He was very like to himself, and was always that way, right? Like my mom was kind of always the one to be the one like with us doing stuff, right? And so we didn't have like a lot of communication or like talks as a family. You know what I mean? Like it was very like, I hate to say like emotional neglect, but the more I've been trying to like work on myself and like, just learn more about my childhood, like it mirrors a lot of that, right? Like going through big life changes, like, puberty, getting your first boyfriend, having your first kiss. Like there wasn't any like communication around like big things like that. And so I think in turn, like, us being married, it's been hard for me to, I don't know, like just be able to just open up naturally about things that are hard for me, or even having hard topics, like hard talks, right? Like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of shame over things because, if you don't talk about things, light doesn't shine on it, and it's just
you just leave it.
It's hidden and it's like scary, and you have shame about it. And so even something as simple as finances, like I used to really feel like I was like a bad wife if I, was a little reckless on the weekend with our card, you know what I mean, or whatever it is, or if I want something too much, like I'm just like a selfish person. I'm just this and that. So, sorry, I'm breathing heavy because I'm 27
with child.
Weeks pregnant.
You're with child.
With child. But things like that, like, and I think also I'm very dismissive about things. Like I think, again, like emotions growing up, we didn't talk about emotions, how you feel. And so I really learned like in a sad way, like what I feel doesn't really matter. Like I didn't have that like affirmed with my guardians growing up. And so sometimes it's really easy for me to just shut down and shut off and like disassociate from conversations.
Same.
And it's really hard for me to like tune in and be like, okay, not think about myself in that moment. Because yes, I'm overwhelmed. Yes, I feel like my capacity is up to here. Like I can't, sometimes my chest gets tight. I can barely breathe. I feel like in hard conversations, and we're talking about something simple. Like looking back on it, it's something simple. Okay. But I feel like I've learned, and like through prayer too, like God has really helped me see like, man, like I have to tune into his needs in this moment too. Like me not responding, me being silent is like, that's hurting him. And that's not fair to my spouse. So it's a learning curve.
I resonate with that.
Yeah.
So I would say that I still, so it was similar for us growing up. It wasn't like we just had so much conversations. I don't know how. I mean, to me, it's typical in black households. Like, you're not about to really have a whole bunch of how do you feel,
Yeah.
right, about this, or it's more so do as I say, and not as I do, right, and
or you'll be all right. It's
yeah,
okay.
exactly right. You'll be all right, especially for a boy.
Yeah.
Or, and so and we didn't have our fathers in the household. My mom was a single parent, and so it was very similar. So I do agree that those things can have a really big impact on someone. But I guess it's just intrinsically who I am. I'm just a little different.
I think Joseph also was like, you sought out male mentors. Like, to this day, I feel like you could pick up your phone and call 10 mentors, and like from coaches to pastors to youth, I don't know, youth group people, like
sports,
even other like other friends, dads. Like, you've been intentional about connecting with them, and so
that's correct.
I think you got sports was a big.
Sports
thing.
is a big one. You got to be like thick. You got to have thick skin.
Yep.
With sports, you can't, especially if you're gonna be like a safety, which is the quarterback of the defense, or you're gonna play point guard or different things. And you got to be vocal. You gotta speak those things. But there's some people that play sports and they can do it on the court and they can do it on the field, but they would not do it at home.
They don't translate
with their wife or that they it's just different.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I would say that it's just more so just how we are as people and how we respond to the circumstances that we, I've seen it. I didn't think it was good. Some of those mentors, they're really good in this area, but they do not show it in this area. And I would just kind of go and I look and it's so extra. I mean, people think I'm a Bible thumper, but like I look in the Bible and I see like, okay, this is like the examples that I would go to that as like, what's my ultimate example, right? And
that thing.
exactly right. And
That's
see
good,
who
though.
lined up with this, and then I can see the fruit of that. And then when they don't line up, I see the fruit with that, and then I'm like, I want to go this way. And then it always is the way that it's supposed to be,
And that's wisdom. That's true wisdom, baby. Like, I feel like that's another thing I love about him is like he just wants to do what's right. Like integrity is a big thing for him. So
for sure.
Yeah.
Did you have another question? Because I feel like you had one and you told me I could go.
Oh yeah. Well, we passed that.
Oh,
sorry.
You don't want to go back?
No, it's okay.
Okay, veganism.
Okay, let's go.
all right for sure.
So yeah, like how did that even happen?
Y'all real life vegans out here for a whole
Well,
bunch of years.
I'll say I have transitioned back to vegetarian.
Okay.
Officially because
Ooh.
I know, but it is no, it's a big. That's so funny because I know that everyone watching, if whoever watches this will be saying the same thing. But it's a big.
really
it is. Like,
it is. I
know?
understand. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm vegetarian. Like,
Big
vegan
change.
still.
So how long have y'all? Well, first of all, what started? I know what started that, but just want to share. Like, what started that? How did that come about? And then how long have y'all been on the journey?
Oh.
7 years almost.
Yeah, like 7 years, 7, 8 years. So it for me it was, and then it was really quickly. Jazz was just on board. I think we had watched like a
What the hell?
documentary. It might have been a little bit
It was
before
like
that.
a little bit before that.
It was like a little bit
It was like
before
a
that.
little bit, but it was something similar.
I was already on that type of time before. In college, I stopped eating fast food and I stopped eating like fried food for real. And then when I came back, and it's really just because I see my family. Like in Louisiana, I mean, a lot of people have so many like self-inflicted things that they're dealing with, from diabetes to gout to
Everything.
high
blood
cholesterol, high
pressure,
blood
yeah.
pressure. And I started learning, like, my dad had high blood pressure. I didn't really know that. I mean, I reconnected with him, like maybe like 6 years ago, right? And then my sister on his side has high blood pressure, or had high blood pressure starting early, right? On my mom's side, a lot of people die from cancer. Like uncle here, another uncle, another pancreatic cancer, prostate cancer, breast cancer. My grandma died from lung cancer, and she was an avid smoker, right? And I was seeing all these things, and I'm looking like, okay, we put so much seasoning in our food, right? And all this salt and stuff like that. And when I got to college, I was looking, I'm like, what is hummus, right? When they got the
I didn't know until college either.
I didn't know what the heck
Isn't that
hummus
funny?
was and stuff like that. So I was looking, I'm like, all right. So I started looking more into it. Appreciate it, baby. And I started looking more into it, and I'm like, the way we eating is, is killing us or causing us to have a life that is not as abundant as it can be.
Yeah.
And so I started like looking and seeing like what things should we be eating, what shouldn't we be eating. I started seeing like meat glue being used, and I won't go too deep into it.
Yeah,
people
you
don't like that. It still eat that. I don't want to gross y'all out. You
said meat glue.
They was using that. They was like taking strips of like the meat that were like when they butcher like cut the meat.
Just mix it all up, put some glue in there.
They realized that all the scraps was they just throwing away. They're like, oh no, we can still
get some
and like injecting stuff into the animals. I'm like, look. And salmon, I used to like salmon a lot because we said, you know what, we're gonna go pescatarian.
Yeah, I remember y'all.
That's what we started.
For a while,
that's where we were when we were married.
The first change we made though, and it was a simple change, but it really opened our eyes to like, oh wow, like you think about what kind of meat you're eating, and we never did that before. Pork was like the first one. He was like, hey babe, like let's try to cut out pork.
Yeah, we gave
and that was
too.
Yeah, and that was a relatively simple switch you can make because like they have turkey bacon or like sausage, like turkey sausage, chicken sausage. And so, I remember you being really thankful like for that. You were like, man, babe, like thanks for like just making that switch, in our diet. And it was a simple thing, but then, just naturally we started like, again, you think about more like, what is this? Like, where did this come from? Like, what is it doing to me? You just kind of start having that, I don't know, other like third eye almost opening up about it. And then, we were pescatarian for a long time.
6 months. Like 6 months.
I don't remember.
It was right. As soon as the wedding was over, it was like it switched to vegetarian.
I remember on our honeymoon, we went to Puerto Rico and we had mofongo.
What's that?
Which was like it's like a lot of seafood, like a seafood soup.
Okay.
Really good, but we just felt gross after. Like
it felt real heavy.
It was just.
But it was a seafood. And then I started researching, like, I was just looking up the food. So every time that we would change, I would like kind of give her the rationale and she would like go with it because she wants to be healthy too,
Yeah. And I think I grew up, thankfully, like I did grow up eating a lot of whole foods. Like we definitely ate meat and, fast food and stuff too. But like we always had a veggie somewhere in our meal. We always had fruits, all throughout the house, eating fruits all day. My mom would be cooking and like give us a big hunk of cabbage and we just eat a big piece of cabbage or whatever, lettuce. So that was relatively easy, but
it was easy. And then the vegan thing that just came, researching more about like dairy and stuff. But but then when she got pregnant, I mean, she was like
with
she
Joa,
wanted eggs and like
crave.
Exactly.
And the thing is, I mean, growing a human, right? Like you are just hungry
all the time.
And my thing is like I like to eat, but like not at midnight, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., like all throughout the night. So I figured like, man, I have to start eating things that are like more abundant in protein so that I don't have to eat as often. Because again, when I tell you that your body will wake you up in the middle of the night if you're hungry and you have to eat right then. Or it's
yes, I know.
So I think with Joe, I had Greek yogurt during my pregnancy, milkshakes here and there too, I will admit, like, but yeah, so from there, I just started eating some cheeses here, here and there again, and things I missed, being honest about being a vegan. But at home, I still cook 100% vegan meals. I might have like a scoop of sour cream in my chili or something here and there if I have it at the house. But I don't know. I think the thing I miss the most though about like our new lifestyle as a vegan is like you don't get to, I don't know, like share community like over like, food as much. Yeah. And that was a big reason why, our son Joa, we allow him to like explore food and like, basically eat whatever he wants right now is truly because of that. Like we didn't want him to go.
Yeah, he can have the choice. He can decide if he want to be vegan.
Yeah, he'll have a choice. Yeah, we also wanted to give him that choice when he's older. You know what I mean? But we also didn't want him to be at his, with his
birthday parties and
birthday
stuff.
Parties, like, oh, you can't eat that, Joa. No,
and you got to pack him something every time you go.
I'm not doing that.
Make sure he eats before y'all leave.
Yeah.
Some things he still can't eat, but
yeah, but
like
mostly,
what?
Like pork?
Eat pork.
Oh yeah, okay.
Want to eat like hot dogs. For
that's
real.
Fair. Yeah.
He can eat everything else. You know what I'm saying?
He has had like a piece of bacon.
Yeah,
we're not crazy about it. Like but again, I'm not cooking bacon every day for him.
Right,
so it's
right.
Like,
it's not a big thing.
He likes sausage though.
Man, we ate it. We doing just fine.
His BB cooks him sausage.
Yeah, my mom, of course. But,
you gonna get this hog, boy.
There's certain things I don't want him. I really don't want him eating fast food for real.
Yeah,
like McDonald's and stuff like that. And stuff like that. But he'll eat everything else.
He'll have Chick-fil-A here and there.
Yeah, I can rock with Chick-fil-A. I ain't doing no tripping about that one.
But I do miss like having just anyone, everyone over for dinner, or coming to people's houses and just not having to be like, oh, sorry, we don't eat. Like you know, we don't eat. You know, like I hate to be.
I don't care.
But you also are a chef.
I ain't doing no tripping.
You
I care.
But I know how it is, like being a host. Like people coming into your home, like you want. Again, maybe it's a woman thing. I don't know, but like you want to just be like a simple guest. You don't want to have to be someone.
No, I understand exactly what you're
picky.
saying. But you guys, the way that you counteract that is you guys, well, I don't know if you still do as much now, but you guys host a lot. And so you cook meals and you're really good about like asking too, like, hey, do y'all like this?
Yeah.
And your vegan meals be fire. So,
and
I'm picky. I'm really picky and I like your food. Yes. I still think about that lasagna.
Lasagna's fire.
Lasagna's bomb. We just ate that boy too. It's real good.
I will say I am.
Yeah. Remember, I don't really like Mexican food. They were good, but I just don't.
Yes.
That sauce is good. That red sauce.
Yeah, that's what I really like. That's why I'm able to eat.
The red sauce. Yeah. Joseph's the same way. He likes the sauce, but not like the actual enchilada a lot. But.
I eat the whole thing. All of it. The whole thing.
I just like healthy food, man. The way I train my brain is like, if it's healthy for me, I learn to like it. That's how.
Really? Because
there
are for example, I don't like the way hummus tastes, but I wanna eat it because I don't know. It's like avocados. I like avocados and I like guacamole, but I don't like hummus. But I want to eat it because it's healthy.
It's like a healthy thing.
And I can't get myself to like eat things if I don't like the taste. I can't stomach it.
I understand.
Yeah.
Now chickpeas, that's part of the protein. Beans, all that. As long as it's healthy, I'm good with eating it. But that don't mean like I'm gonna go out my way to eat the stuff that's not my favorites all the time.
But that is a good thing about Joseph too. Like he's not picky. Like like when I meal plan, I don't have to
like, hey, do you want
consult
this
with him?
week?
You know what I'm saying?
That's him.
Like,
he doesn't care.
He'll just eat anything.
I'd be trying to like get her to just cook. I'm gonna eat it.
He will.
Just cook.
He don't care what I make.
I don't, because it's less that I have to worry about or think about. I can focus on something else. Just cook it. I'm appreciative. I thank you.
Just been needing, some help making a suggestion.
No, you don't. You guys.
I know, but it is hard. That's why I started the monthly meal plans.
Monthly? You monthly meal plan?
Not
Come
every
on,
month
wife of the year.
I try. Because it's so say
not
lasagna.
On your level.
I can make lasagna on the 1st and the 16th, and then it's still spread out enough that it doesn't feel like it's so close.
Yeah.
That's why your 2 days knocked down. You know what I'm saying? So you do that with 5-6 meals, and you kind of just spread them out and like throw a random new recipe in there once or twice a month.
Do you type it out? Or what do you?
I handwrite. I'll handwrite them. Same thing with our budget. We do handwritten.
I do not care
budgets.
about. I can eat the same things like every day.
I don't understand
the top 5.
that.
I mean, shoot, I can't. We ate served sandwiches and I mean, it sounds like eating bread balled up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Rubbing up some bread.
You know what I'm saying?
That made my stomach hurt.
You hungry? You gonna eat?
Yeah.
You what you gotta do? Eat. I ain't doing no tripping.
Man, I ain't had a syrup sandwich in a long time.
Yeah, don't do
Hopefully
that.
not.
We're not eating those, y'all.
I wonder if I can still do that.
Toast. I eat so much toast with sugar sprinkled on top.
And Joseph will still tear up some cereal. Like I'll wake up in the morning.
I think that's every dude.
Really, the whole box of cereal's gone.
Yo,
I don't buy cereal that much.
You don't.
Does he use a bowl or he use like Tupperware?
He'll use a bowl, but he will keep the cereal will be caked on in the morning. Like we didn't rinse, we didn't put in the sink. We just left the box out, everything out.
It's not that good for it. So I will. So that's another thing. That's the thing I learned early on was if it's not good for me and I like it, just don't buy it.
Yeah.
If it's not there, you can't eat it.
That's true.
That's the thing. So I won't buy cereal too much.
No, it's
like I know I eat a lot of it.
Yeah.
I eat a lot of it. That's how I go.
The whole box.
Yeah, I ain't doing no tripping. We keep it going.
Yeah,
all of that. Yeah. That's how it is.
Oh man, that's funny.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Y'all did not share. We briefly mentioned, but we got to give my man a little more credit than that. Who y'all raising? What y'all do for a living? But also like these little people in y'all's lives.
100%. So my little man Joa is 2 and a little bit past 6 months. He'll turn 3 in April. And so the biggest blessing we've had in our life, right? That was a gift. And now we're pregnant with our second son.
Yeah.
Baby Josiah.
His name gonna be Josiah. He gonna be here May, like the middle of May. And so that's a blessing. Joe is excited to be a big brother.
He is.
He's very excited.
100%. He really
He's
excited.
ready to have someone to play with, tackle, play football, basketball, all these little things he loves to do.
And Joe is very like advanced. he has such a loving spirit about himself, and he's very intelligent.
He's so social too.
He's very social.
He walks in like, we go to the playground. Mama, where are my friends? Mama, like if it, say I could take him early to the park, or it's like, just rain and we go to the park. Mama, where are my friends? Like, he's trying to play. Okay,
Exactly
I love that.
So he's ready to be a big brother.
We're just really blessed with him. He started walking like at 10 months. He started like talking like a little bit before 2, and he just like, he does it. He does everything. Like, he throws with both hands. Really good control of his body.
Yeah,
he was like supporting his weight really early. Like when he was like 2 days old, I was holding him. He was like holding him. Like, it's crazy.
Hold his little legs up.
Hold his little legs up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my guy. He loves going to Bible study now.
Really?
Yep. He
Mostly
loves
because
us
he has
reading
little
books.
friends there.
He got some friends there. Yep. He wants to read them books all the time. And then we found like shows that we actually like him to watch, like Daniel Tiger and stuff that's like instilling good things, right? And so, and he loves watching movies. And so,
does he watch the whole movie?
He watched the whole, like the ones
a couple of movies that he likes.
He likes. Like, he
we can only make it about 30 minutes.
I know he'll watch it. He'll watch it.
Now he will.
It's
Yeah.
Moana. Like
He's
Moana, he'll watch it. He watch it like 30 times. Sing too.
Sing
Too. He watched like 10 times. He know all the songs.
And he will really sing the
He'll
songs.
sing the songs.
It's so cute.
So now we got the soundtracks in the car.
Yeah.
And so
We got the soundtrack. I know that life.
Have it ready.
yep, he understands a good amount of Spanish because at school he
he does.
they do both. They speak both to him. And so man, my little man, I just want to make sure he he's focused on the right things, and he really young now. He wants to play sports. I want him to just make sure that he loves God. He a man.
Absolutely, that's my prayer. Like
a man of God, and that's a big thing. And
when you guys were talking earlier about the having a good group of like friends from FCA in high school, and just it was kind of having that accountability built into like your friend group. Like I want to start praying that for my son. Early on.
I can see that. I'm gonna see that. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah,
it's the biggest thing with my little man. Everything's been going well, and he's just a ball of energy. And he just want to do everything that I'm doing and that Mama is doing.
So sweet. Right? Even this morning, Joseph was brushing his hair, and then he like had a little hair on his chest. He started doing this. I look over, Joe was doing this. I'm like, boy, what are you doing? Like, just everything that Daddy does.
That the other day.
Yes, he was.
I don't even know what I was doing.
That's my guy.
It's really dope seeing them grow up.
Yeah.
And you guys mentioned that you met as teachers. Are y'all still teaching? What?
True. So I'm an assistant principal now in Pleasant Grove in Dallas.
A black male AP.
And Jazz
in
actually left education the year after Joel was born.
I did.
And so, it was kind of tough. He a COVID baby, so
yeah.
Having to take off because the daycare might close down because somebody gets COVID.
Oh,
that was like
I
the
forgot
first
about
week.
that stuff.
And then he went the first day he went to daycare. He got sick. Right?
Yeah, I remember you saying.
And then
that.
the second
he had like RSV. His first
RSV.
day.
Yeah.
Then he had norovirus. The second day he went. So after being gone, that week he was gone another week, and then it was like a teacher at the school got COVID, so they shut down for 14 days. So now Jasmine, because she's still nursing, and she got to take off, and every day she take off past those 10 days was docking her pay.
Yeah.
And then
and that was very discouraging. I would say that was one of the hardest periods of like. Motherhood so far for me was having to be, because I still work now, but thankfully I'm able to work from home. But having to work away from the home, away from your baby all day, especially your little, 3-4 month old baby. That was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. And I had to commute an hour to work.
Oh yeah.
And then thankfully his daycare was only not even a mile down the road from the school, but having to pump 3 times a day and like not knowing how much milk my baby was drinking and just the physical separation, like I was talking about, the physical separation was extremely hard. So now, like I mentioned, I'm thankfully able to work from home. I do project management for tech companies. Started out working with Prudential, which was great. Now I have a new contract with Marriott that I just started in December.
Okay.
And so,
they give you a discount on hotel rooms?
not yet. If I get like hired full time with them, then I would.
Okay.
But as of right now, I'm like just consulting with them. So
You give me hope that
blessing.
I can use my teaching degree in something else.
for sure, you have so many skills, Jazz. Like
yeah,
honestly,
I remember
it's really just about finding the right fit for you.
Yeah.
I think something that teaching really set me up good for was like being able to lead meetings, organizing data.
That was
organizing
working in sped, sis. Because
yes,
all those schedules you had to like create and all that. You led meetings all day, every day.
Yeah, and so instead of having to lead a caseload of 35 kids in all different sections and different needs and disabilities and abilities, now I have a couple teams of like 5 developers, and now they're brilliant on their own. They don't really need much direction. They need help, planning their work, projects, whatever. Little structure, right? But that's again,
100%
going from 100 to 100 miles an hour to 50 miles an hour. It was a nice break for me.
I bet.
She tried to hit me with the I want to stay at home.
I did.
I wasn't rocking with that.
I did.
If we could, we would.
No, yeah,
that
but
was the talk that we had already.
Yeah,
that was
that's
part
why,
of the talks that we had before marriage. Yeah, I just have to revisit. But that was the thing too, because I'm like, all right, no doubt. But you can, but things change, and she
remember the plan
after like going over that budget again.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I also being real with myself. Like, I didn't want, I wanted a certain lifestyle, and I thankfully God provided a way for me to still be able to work and be with Joa more. But yeah, I just knew like we've always been a 2-income household, and like that's something I agreed to, and so I had to stick through it. I'm honestly glad I did. Like. I think having my career,
it's like I know,
yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's not like we don't want to work the rest of our lives. Yeah. Once again, like the
plan,
it's a plan. So if we stick to the plan, we only gonna have to work if we want to work well before retirement. Right?
Yeah, and I'll be honest, y'all. Like I want a certain lifestyle. Not that I'm like, flashy, you have to have certain things, but like
that's real.
The things that I want.
If I want to go out to eat or go on a little vacation every year or so, like little things.
I'm gonna go clock in so I can do that.
I'm gonna clock in and clock out.
I understand.
So that was
how it go. And then like not having to be so strict on the
budget.
The budget for groceries.
Yeah.
Went up. I mean, by the time we made that, they done almost doubled. Like
we were talking about that yesterday.
Yes.
I mean, stuff like that, like taxes going up, everything
except for wages.
Except for wages.
Right.
Yeah.
Except for wages. But that's why we have our plan. That's why, properties and stuff like this, so that after we acquire a few more, I mean, shoot, it's gonna get to a point where we just gotta work if we want to work.
Yeah.
That's the income. And those things can happen because we sticking to the plan that we said in the beginning, right?
Yeah, and that's been a stretch for me, like to be so forward thinking, like like seems to come naturally for him. It's been a stretch for me, but I think as the years go on, like I buy into the plan more, if you will. So
yeah, because you see the fruits of it. You see the fruits of the plan when you buy into it.
Yeah, yeah. Like for example, our second son, like we could not have had another baby right now, just like literally financially, if I wasn't still working. Being a working mom, daycare, Joa's daycares,
girl,
a certain amount. So then times 2. That's another literally another mortgage.
It is
exactly
for our to have a second baby. But again, like talking through these things and knowing what to expect, we had a plan for it. So
exactly right.
Words.
That's always, to me, that's the main thing is communication, being on the same page, and then somebody gotta. Of course, we leading together, but can't have 2 people in the driver's seat. Right, it's gonna always be like an issue. That's gonna be a problem, and that's why I made sure in the beginning I find somebody who really not just says I'm believing this Bible, but like actually mean it. Because then I can just defer to the Bible. I can just defer to like what the word is. It's not gonna be like no gotcha thing.
Yeah,
I know that I'm not gonna have to convict anybody.
Right,
somebody who actually believes and truly walks that out, they're gonna be convicted themselves.
That's true.
And just like I will be if we're not, adhering to what it's saying. And that's always that's the biggest reason. That's why I'm making sure that as much as in my control that Joa and Josiah, they find a woman that's a believer that
I'm already praying for my future
that's a big
daughter-in-law.
That's a big thing, yeah. Or it can lead to a lifetime of like. I mean, it can lead to a lot of strife and like.
People say that's the biggest decision you make in your life is who you marry, 100%. And now like being married for 7 years,
7 years.
Yeah, 7 years, like
100%.
I cannot imagine being married to anyone.
Yeah, because what's the standard? Like they if you don't have that, if it's not like the word, then what's your standard that you're using?
Yeah.
To determine what's moral, what's right or wrong. Like you create your own standard.
Yeah.
And then as people change, because people love to say like, well, I'm not the same person I was then. I'm not the same person. So then like, okay, so whenever y'all get together and y'all get married, then 8 years from then or
You're
3 years, it's like, okay, now you change your standard.
Yeah. I think it is fair to say though that you do change as a person.
Right.
But
agree.
I think like your foundation, like your core, your standards shouldn't change. Just like the word doesn't change. Like those things
your morals
don't change, but
yeah, we change because
interests.
I'm like, I think we change. People that's believers, they change in the sense of I'm getting more mature and getting closer to looking like Christ, right? And so I'm changing and becoming less of the flesh, right? And exactly right. And yeah, you should change, and that's a good thing, but not the whole like I used to be this way, now I'm this way, but both ways, this way I'm a little bit more selfish now. Yeah, like now it's like okay,
Yeah,
now if that works, then it's just. Somebody's getting the short end of the stick.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's not a good thing. No matter who doing it, right? Yep. So yeah, and that's been good. So ultimately, the main thing from this conversation that I want to drive home is having God first in everything. Essential part of it. I love the fact that y'all are doing y'all mission as far as this is about marriage because I see an attack on marriage today
for sure
taking place, and that's a very sad reality. And I'm like, man, how is the world gonna look when Joe and Josiah, in adulthood, and but at the end of the day, I got full faith and trust in God that things gonna work out. But I do think it's gonna be looking a lot different. It's gonna be looking like it's already looking different from when we were kids.
Right.
It's
it's a lot.
It's way different.
A lot going on.
It's way different, and so I'm like, man, a man, a woman, one man, one woman, right? And
list goes on.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. And like how you treat one another, and and what that means, and I mean that's something that people got to model,
Right. Yeah, I was
like
just gonna
people
say,
need
I
to
think
see
like
it.
the biggest, like I used, again, like us not coming from like having a lot growing up, like I crazily used to think like, man, I want to give my sons this or do this, like I want to buy them the first car. If it's a truck, I want to just like I think the biggest thing we can give our sons is like modeling a healthy marriage for them.
Exactly,
and that's going to be more than like
100%
their college paid for, or honestly like how we love each other and like how we can model Christ's love together as a man and wife. Like that's the best thing we can give our sons. So that's what we're really truly focused on.
It's a good thing. God blesses marriage.
Yeah.
Yes.
He does.
That's so real.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
So,
man, I love y'all.
I do too.
It's mutual.
I love y'all.
Love y'all too, man.
Yeah, of course.
It's always good to have, your friends, your family, as I see y'all as family.
Sure. Y'all are definitely family.
But to sit down and have good godly conversation about marriage and God above all. And you can't have a healthy godly marriage without God.
100%.
Yep.
100%.
And so in us being more Christ-like, being more godly, the fruit of our marriage will show in that. Because if we're continuously growing, developing, changing, because of God's light being in us and the light of Christ being in us, then the fruit of it will show in how our kids are raised, how we make decisions, how much grace we show. And the list really just goes on. And, you guys for sure are examples of that.
I was going to say that.
Y'all are examples of that because y'all have impacted so many people.
Including us.
Definitely us for sure. But there's so many others that I definitely can't speak for, even if they don't want me to, but I will, that y'all have positively impacted in such a godly way. And I don't know, I feel compelled to say this. There's more too. There are others who will be impacted by you guys. And you may not see the fruit of all of them, but be appreciative of the fruit that you do see.
Yeah.
100%.
Definitely.
100%.
Because y'all have planted in so many people and imparted in so many people. And And what y'all have given people is priceless. It's priceless. You can't put a label on it. Can't put a tag on it. Can't even put a cap on it because what you gave them was him.
Yeah.
You gave them him in whatever way that it showed up. So, yeah, man, I love y'all so much.
Appreciate that, bro. Love you too, man.
So
Thank y'all for being a model. Like, for real. Like, I think about when we were dating still, and I don't know how long y'all had been married, and we were over at your house, and one of y'all asked the question, you know, when are y'all gonna like get married or
that
something?
Was me.
Okay.
That was like the first time we met too.
Okay.
Now looking back, I was like, why did
I think it was
all
you.
in their business?
And I remember I was like, like,
I know.
and it really got the ball rolling and thinking. And
that's funny. You
we
remember
didn't
that too. I thought about that this morning.
that's like the main thing I remember from that night, other than it was some great wine. But like, I was like, she really asked us that, and we not talking. Like, I mean, we kind of talked about it, but like, what does that look like? And I hadn't seen a young marriage before, let alone like my family. There's something I openly talk about. Like, I mean, we got what one still going strong, one marriage, but like, I'm not used to seeing that, and then seeing it in y'all, I was like, not just because I didn't really know y'all that well, and I got to go to the wedding, and I was like, man, this is so beautiful, and this is dope, you know. But like, again, what does it look like at home? And what y'all talk about, y'all live. Like, who y'all are is authentic, and even now, like we talk about it, we're inspired by y'all having property and y'all's financial stewardship, and your son Joa is the sweetest boy. Like, he's such a boy. Like, we were talking about this. He's really a boy, but he's not like a boy that you're like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to. I could never watch him, or he be doing too much, or like they don't have no control over their house. Like, he's like himself, but he's still so sweet and loving. And in just the few encounters I've had with him, like, you know, he's an expression of y'all's love, y'all, you know, what y'all poured into him. And so, I just want to echo what you said, like, for real, like, I really do appreciate y'all, and we're watching y'all. We look up to y'all, and we love y'all.
It's mutual. Love you guys.
Yeah.
Love y'all too, man. We appreciate that. And, I mean, it's a blessing to hear those things. And at the end of the day, we know that's only God, because that's a lot
I'm
of
sitting
prayer.
here like almost hard to believe it, because it's just
despite ourselves, you know what I'm saying? That's all God, us praying, you know, every day, and just striving to be like that, and we pray for those type of things.
I was gonna say, I think prayer is like really 100%. More powerful than, you know, I mean, I know it, right? But I think it's more powerful than I think our minds can even understand.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
Yeah,
you know,
100%.
I mean, if anything, our families are praying families. You know what I mean? So I think, God has given us tremendous grace and mercy over our lives, and so.
Yeah, and y'all influence us in the same way.
Yeah.
We encouraged by it, you know. I mean, it's like it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, but despite where it may be, right? It's like what type of posture and mindset do people take when they have to do things that have to be selfless, like you know, whether that's, you know, I have to stay here for this time period, and then
give up certain things,
and do this, or like, shoot, we just talking about I was talking to Spoon about the insurance, like how that's a big deal, like, you know, and just certain things and how we go about it. But it's always a team thing, right? And it's always like, how do I talk to this person, you know, and treat this person in private, in public, right? How are we talking? How we, you know, treating our kids? How do we treat our families, right? And the people that's around us. And I mean, it's just a blessing. And so I appreciate you guys, you know what I'm saying? And we love y'all. And like I said, Spoon been this way. It's not nothing surprising to me, right? You know, as far as marriage, because this is exactly what I expected Spoon to be like when he got to this age and this time. And there's gonna be a lot of great things that he's doing, you know, past this. And so, I mean, I'm just happy about that. And so at this time, I just pray that, you know, God continues to bless you guys, and, you know, and he sustains y'all, and little man and little one. I don't know if y'all got a name right now for the girl yet.
No.
That right there, that she's a woman of God, right? And that's it, man. That's the biggest thing.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all. So appreciate y'all.
I'm good. I'm holding everything
Me
back.
too. I'm
real good.
You ain't got to the emotional side.
We're gonna cry in the car.
Ain't got to the emotional
my
side.
hormonal self over here.
It comes
and everything.
It does, man. We hope that you guys were full after this conversation.
Yes.
Cause I'm big full.
And blessed.
Man, I'm big fool. I'm big fool. Yeah, I ain't really got nothing else to say.
I don't either. Like, I really don't. Like, that was literally, my heart's full. We love y'all.
Yep,
we appreciate y'all.
Yeah,
And
till next episode. Peace.
peace.
Thank y'all so much for tapping in with the Left Hand Gang podcast.
Be sure to follow, like, subscribe, and rate us.
And lastly, please don't forget to check out our website. That's lefthandgang.co for merch and ways to stay connected.
Catch you next episode.
Gang.